Name is Marcel Vercouter. I'm a resident from around here. I live about 3 blocks from the park, and I come take my little doggie. We go for a walk.
And for about 20 years, you said?
We've been here about 20 years.
20 years, and then the noise not so much. But you
No.
were telling me about the process that they do, or the things that they want you to sign.
Yeah, they come around. I've been at meetings with the committee now for 4 or 5 times, and you have to sign 2 documents. One's an easement and one's a waiver. And so the government puts in X amount of money, and the government puts in X amount of money, and now they have these easements and waivers. Well, I won't do that.
Why don't you want them to?
Well, it's a personal choice that say that I don't want them to own or have authority over anything that I own. Besides, anything is materialistic anyway. It's going to go away. 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 60 years from now, all this stuff will be wore out.
So they'll have to redo it?
They have to. No, they can't do it. They're just putting it one time. So what they'll do is, like I say, it's my grandkids, my great-grandkids. I love my house, and I'm going to pass it on. And so they won't have this. Everybody else is having all this done to their house is going to be gone, right?
So what's the use?
So why do it?
Did they come to you? Did the airport come
Call
to your house?
you,
Or
or-
how do they reach you if they did?
Oh, you go to meetings, and then they send you papers and documents that come to meetings, and then they get
What are they saying exactly they're going to do?
Well, what they do is they put first of all, they air condition your house. That's number one. Boy, people really jumped overboard for that. And then they insulate it, and they give you all new hardwood doors, and they give you all new windows. And so it comes to around $40,000.
Wow.
Something like that. So the government puts in, the FAA puts in half, and the airport authority puts in half.
Do you know some neighbors that have?
Oh yeah, all around me. They've not. The ones across the street and places. There's a lot of them that haven't. And I guess we're just stubborn or something. But I'm thinking of my grandkids, my great-grandkids, or whatever, and nobody will have any document that says
Saying your house.
that can do anything about the ground or whatever that goes
Even
around.
if the noise did
Yeah, they're pleased with what they've done. Yeah, everybody I've talked to, they're pleased with what they've done.
And you just rather not do it just for.
No.
Just because you don't want to have someone who's had access or a document saying
Well,
that.
basically, I'm thinking of my kids and what they pass on and stuff like that. And like I said, 20 years from now, everything they put in these houses are
And
gone.
air conditioning's a good
Had
thing,
air.
especially on days like this.
And my house, I have 14 inches insulation on the roof, which I did many years ago. And the house is well insulated all the way through. Always had good air conditioning. What do I need to have to come and redo it again? I don't have. That's one of the reasons I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it. And so I says, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I haven't done it. So there's a lot of people in the neighborhood basically that have had their own systems and things, and so
You've pretty much gotten used to the noise, or it doesn't bother you near the airport that you've encountered yourself.
Okay, when working with buyers and sellers as real estate agents, we do have our due diligence to disclose information if you are in an airport or close proximity to an airport. So when you're working with a seller, there are many disclosures that we have, and in those disclosures is where you'll put that you are in close proximity. You can experience some airport noise or flight noise from the planes. And as far as we have one coming now. So also when I'm representing a buyer, there's a special form that we fill out that an agent has their own section in which they do their due diligence to disclose things that they notice to the buyer. So I myself will also disclose either we're in close proximity to an airport or train tracks or even like a school, because in a school area you might get also some high traffic or noise from cars and children and things.
Now you mentioned, you said that buyers sometimes will do their own investigation.
Yes,
how do they go about
exactly.
doing that? I mean, from what you've seen.
Well, what happens is when a buyer is purchasing a home, they have so many days in which to do their own inspections and investigations, and sometimes they think it's mainly like a physical inspection about the home, but you always want to check out your area as well, so they can do their own investigations, kind of maybe sit outside at different times during the day, get an idea of what the flight patterns are like. Is it going to be a problem for them? They can call the airport authority, find out the times that they start and stop flights and the different flight patterns that they have.
How familiar are you with the insulation of the homes that the airports have been doing? Some homes, I guess, have been able to be retrofitted, and some haven't. Tell me a little bit about maybe some of the areas, because you're all in this airport area. I guess covers your.
There are some homes which they have to qualify. So you would call the Burbank Airport Authority, and you find out if you're within a certain grid of where they will allow homes to be. For that program to be retrofitted and soundproofed. And so some of the homes have been upgraded where they've had the windows and doors and some extra insulation put in for that.
Just the question that we just
and now comes the train.
Here comes the train, the noises, we love them.
My last name it's Chiroglyan.
Cool. All right, Joseph, we're just gonna talk. Like the camera's not here, or
okay.
Me and you just talk. Tell me a little. You've been here how long, Joseph?
2 years, but I'm still living in North Hollywood 20 years.
So you've
but still every time it's bothering me aeroplane and you know.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the airplane noise. You live right here across the street from the airport. Tell me a little bit about how burdensome it is with your windows and doors. Go into it.
Yeah, window and doors not replaced it and nothing. We 2 times I'm still at administration Burbank and you know airport administration, but they are denied ours. You know what? That this is neighborhood because they are say hey, you know you're not living in Burbank area.
So you went to the airport, right? And you asked them if you could double pane your windows and doors, right? And
yes.
And they said what?
Yes, because for that one and too hot. You know what? I did it, you know, myself. I spent a lot of more money for AC. Yeah. You know what? But they are usually they are doing, you know, that one because we can't open the door and windows because too noisy and too much smoke. You know what? Too much smoke and toxic waste is from aeroplane, and they are using too much. They are. I'm engineer before I'm engineer. You know what? I know that one.
Yeah. They said that you're not in the Burbank area, the zone?
Yep. They are not zone in Burbank. This is North Hollywood, they are saying. You know what?
This is
yeah, administration. And you know Burbank as administration answer us like that. All neighborhood would complete it for that one. Noisy and smoke and smelling, you know, after afternoon, you know, not evening time. It's coming smell too, you know what? From aeroplanes and from sky and sitting down.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about when's the worst time, the loudest time with the planes and things? Is it in the morning time, in the afternoon?
Morning 2, 9, 10, and sometime 2, 11, and they are flying. And I don't know. I can talk to phone, use the phone. I can hear my family members, everything. They are bothering us.
And so what option do they give you? What option do they give you? Do it yourself?
I'm doing myself what I can do, because they are doing nothing, because I'm not living in Burbank area zone. You know what? They are. I don't know, sir. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They just received a lot of money, as you probably know. They received a lot of federal aid. It was in the papers.
Yep.
The Burbank aid to insulate the homes in the area that it's affecting. Do you know where the actual line is?
Line is after Gavenga, Ross Avenue. Yeah, because 2 blocks from here, 2 blocks. Accent I don't know, but near to airport. You know what? Here, Claiborne. You know, Chandler and Claiborne. It's Burbank area, but here this is North Hollywood area. They are saying, hey, we can do nothing because you not live in city of Burbank.
Well, what about your neighbors? What do they say?
My neighbors all completed it, but still they are can do nothing too. You know what we can do? We go sue them, but I don't know.
Yeah. So your neighbors have got installation done or no?
No, not everyone.
What about
90% now have installation. 90%. No, sometimes, every time I'm very loud. Very, very. That's problem, you know. Our problem.
Big problem. Yeah. Start by just saying your name and your
Sure.
last name.
My name is Victor Gill. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Communications at Bob Hope Airport.
Cool. Well, Victor, if you could just maybe start by...
Lines here to shift to newer technology engines, because that's where the greatest gains could be made.
Right.
And we were able to become one of the first airports in the United States, if not the first, to have a 100% what's called Stage 3 airline fleet, meaning the newest generation of airline engines. And by doing that, without changing anything else, we really reduced the noise impact areas that are calculated under these noise standards I'm talking about. And it was after that, going into the mid 1980s forward, that we got involved in these federal government processes where the ultimate object is to qualify for federal grants to do some insulation in homes and in schools. So the first step that lasted a good 10 years was change the planes. The second step that's been going on from 1985 to this day, for the last 20 years in other words, has been qualify for federal grants and spend those federal grants insulating homes and schools.
Of the day, I believe it's $2 million, right? The most recent.
Well, the most recent headline as we talk in July of 2006 is that we got a $2 million grant from the Federal Aviation Administration to augment the funds we have already received from that agency to continue our very aggressive noise insulation program with residences in the area. That's really part of a larger picture. We first got our first federal grant in 1989 to start that process, and since 1989 we have gotten upwards of about $57 million in federal grants for home insulation. And what you need to understand about these federal grants is that they are so-called 80-20 grants. That means for every 80 cents the federal government puts on the table, the local airport has to put 20 cents of matching funds. So 57 million in federal grants mean we've already put 13 million of our own money on the table. And that's allowed us to basically, so far, insulate 5 of the major schools that are in the immediate area. Well, in Burbank, there are 2 of them. Luther Burbank Middle School and Burbank Adult School are on the same block south of the airport. There's a parochial school, St. Patrick's, that's just west of that, to the south. And then we've also done Glenwood Elementary School, which is to the north of the airport in Sun Valley. So we've done those schools, and with our latest contract that we awarded just in the beginning of July, we have now either insulated or have under contract to insulate 1,278 residential units.
Oh, wow.
And that, in our current 65 decibel area that I've talked about earlier, we have about 2,100 residential units. So we're well over 50% through the problem, if you will, in terms of insulating those residential units that are inside the official designated impact area.
And was the city itself contacting the airport?
No, the city doesn't really have a role to play here. What is done with these federal studies is that the airport operator is the party who does the federal studies to qualify the noise impact area for consideration. Now, there's a difference between being eligible for federal grants and getting the federal grants. There's no guarantee the grants will be coming. But what happens in the schools, for example, is that the local school district that owns the school will be the actual project director. They will retain the architects and the construction firms to do the work, but we will provide the financing. In the case of the home insulation, we are the project manager, we have the funds, and we engage contractors and architects and engineers to design the plans for each home, and we administer the program.
How do you approach a resident as it lives nearby in an area that needs insulation? How do I get approached from? Well,
generally speaking, the way we've done it, and we've been doing the homes since 1997, is we will alert those residences and the owners of those properties who are in the designated area to the extent that we believe we have money to reach that area. And we will market it really with all kinds of outreach. We've done picnics in the parks. We've done open houses. We've had open houses where we have the display windows and the solid foam core doors and other insulation techniques on exhibit. We have sent letters. We've published newsletters. We have the internet, obviously, that's still alive and well. And so we've had a very good record of affirmative contact with the property owners. And the benchmark that we have just passed this year is that we have insulated and or contacted all of the property owners in the currently eligible area.
Wow, so
okay.
you actually have made contact?
Yeah, and we have signed up, as I said, we've gotten under contract 1,278 homes, and a couple of hundred more who are registered in the program, but their home has not yet come up for any action yet. So there are still, I think, about 200 property owners who, over the last 8 years, have never responded to any overture.
What do you...
What it is, it's not an airliner.
I'm actually going to talk to that real estate agent, Patricia, tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Patricia sold this house, but other one is sold too.
Oh yeah?
And that one.
Hi, Larry.
Hello.
This gentleman's doing a news shot for USC, and he wanted to interview me about the airport noise thing and about being in real estate, so he wants some extra footage, and I thought, since your deal closed today, I'd congratulate you in person if you don't mind being on camera.
I don't mind being on camera.
Great. Larry, congratulations so much on the sale of your home. Appreciate you.